and welcome back to the Hot Lap. We are fresh off of the sprint race, the first sprint race of 2024, the first sprint race in China, as one of Max Verstappen wins, but that's not the whole story. What an absolute cracker we had of a sprint race action all the way. Verstappen starting fourth, ultimately winning by, let's be fair, a lot. I mean, he ended up winning by 13 seconds. Such was the advantage that he had today. I think was a day that showed how good that Red Bull is, particularly in the hands of Max Verstappen. And despite, I think, leading for about half the race, there was nothing Lewis Hamilton could have done to stop the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. Yes, Hamilton made a mistake because I think he was trying so hard, but I don't think there's anything more that he could do. So let's quickly get into our winners and losers, etc. for the sprint race. So as we know, Max Verstappen, he won. Yeah, there was absolutely no stopping this man here as one of the winners. Max Verstappen. Really solid result. Yes, he had to race a bit, and yes, he did throw his dummy out the proverbial pram when there was something wrong with his car, swearing, etc. I mean, it's Max. That's what happens. I always think he kind of gets a bit flustered, a bit like Vettel as well. We've seen Hamilton do it when things aren't going his way, but he ended up getting his head down and then passing Alonso and then passing Hamilton to win, but. Let's talk about the biggest loser. Yes, it was. Yes, starting on pole alongside Lewis Hamilton, Lando Norris. He went toe to toe with Lewis. Something that he's been criticised of being a bit too easy to pass. Maybe not aggressive enough sometimes, particularly against Max. But boy, was he trying his absolute best to keep the lead compared to Lewis Hamilton. However, maybe he tried a bit too hard because Hamilton just eased him off wide, and then Lando Norris went off the track and then lost several places. What could have been, I think, potentially his first sprint win. But, and here's the big but, that Red Bull was really fast, and then that was kind of it, sadly, for Lando Norris. Yeah, but for me, it wasn't Max Verstappen. The man of the race for me was this man, Lewis Hamilton, Sir Lewis Hamilton, as our sprint star. Why? Well, he's taken that, really, let's be fair, probably the fourth fastest car, maybe fifth, depending where you think Aston Martin is, and he absolutely sent it today. He tried his absolute best, 110% Lewis. I think he showed us he's lost none of his speed, none of his racecraft when you look at the way he dealt with Nando. However, maybe it was a bit too nice to Max, but I think Max was coming through no matter what, in spite of that lockup was for Sir Lewis Hamilton. So let's have a quick rundown then. Let's get that rundown of who finished where. So it was Verstappen winning, Hamilton second, Sergio Perez third, Leclerc in fourth, Charles? No, it's like Leclerc in fourth, Carlos Sainz in fifth, more on those Ferraris in a bit, Lando Norris sadly in sixth, Oscar Piastri in seventh, George Russell eighth, Zhao Guan Yu in ninth, just missing out on those points, Magnussen 10th, and then the bottom, we had Daniel Ricciardo. Solid result, though, to be fair, for 11th. Nice work. Bottas, Ocon, 13th. Unlucky for some. Lance Stroll, 14th. Pierre Gasly, Tsunoda, Albon, Sargent, Hulkenberg, and then Fernando Alonso going out with that, let's be fair, one of the most epic battles we've seen in a sprint race. Full stop. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it? So, yes, but there we go. Lewis Hamilton second, very much so. So, what was going on with those Ferraris? What on earth? Well, I've just seen the talking on Sky, and Leclerc pretty much said it was hard racing. It was too hard. He wasn't too cross about it. To be fair to him, he's even put his hand up himself and said, "Yeah, sometimes even I'm a bit too hard when it comes to the racing." So fair enough, Charles Leclerc putting his hands up. But wow, does this potentially open up a can of worms? He did say we're going to be talking after we've talked about it before. He didn't really seem to think it was an issue. Carlos Sainz even admitted it may have been a bit hard, but he did say it was. he did say it was hard. It was hard racing. It was hard racing out there for Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc. But I mean, what's going to be interesting now? Is that going to ignite? Is that going to give Charles Leclerc a proverbial kick up the backside to do better? I think it will. I think it wasn't too bad at all. He didn't do too bad at all. But I mean, it's going to be interesting because, as we know, between these two, between Carlos and Charles Leclerc, there is pressure on Leclerc to do good. I mean, Carlos Sainz, what's he got to lose? That's what they're saying in the commentary. And absolutely, what has this man got to lose? Not much at all, if I'm honest. So, and he even said himself, he tried to get past Max because he knew if he could get past Max, maybe he'd have a chance at winning that race. But as we know, maybe a preview for the actual race, those Red Bulls, probably going to be a 1-2 now. However, and here's the but, I still think it's probably going to be, on that merit, a Red Bull 1-2. But they are now allowed to, Parc Fermé rules are kind of open where they couldn't change the setup for the car. They can now before qualifying, and that's something Lewis Hamilton, and that is something, to be fair, Lewis Hamilton said. He said, yes, we can look at that and we can change the car a bit. I know a lot more about the car than I did during that race. Bear in mind they've only had that one practice session, so it's gonna. I think qualifying could be quite interesting. And well, I feel. I mean, let's be fair. I really feel for this man here. Fernando Alonso. Oh, Fernando, he tried his best. He was second. It looked like he could even get the lead from Lewis Hamilton at one point. Alas, he didn't, did he? Which was a massive shame. He ended up going out the race with a puncture, with his battle with the Ferraris. But if you haven't watched the sprint race, I mean, spoiler alert, obviously, but watch it. Even watch the highlights on YouTube. I thought it was really, really good. Really, really fantastic few battles in that sprint race. Yeah, a massive thumbs up there. So we will be back for the we'll no doubt be back for what is going to be qualifying. So our qualifying show. Please like and subscribe if you like what you see. And well, if you do that, in our eyes, you are a F1 champion. If you like and subscribe, you are definitely a multiple champion. Thank you very much. Speak to you soon.